No, you will not get the proper house for free. If I make a mistake here, that's over for me. A lot of these places are dead. Snakes, centipedes, bears hiding in the bushes. It was supposed to be sunny. Why is it gloomy? Why? What? What? It doesn't say Chevrolet. It's not a Chevrolet. How can this be a Chevrolet? Am I saying this right? Chevrolet? Is it French? Chevrolet. What might I get? I'm gonna get into my Chevrolet. It says Chevrolet. It does. Why is there a K car? Chevrolet. It's not a Japanese car. Is it American? I think it's American. I don't know. Yeah, it's GM. GM is General Motors. Or it's the French note. General Motors. I'm not gonna make friends with the French today, but then again, I'm German, so that's not really an issue. I love you French people, just as I'm sure that you love us German people. Alright? In tough times we stand together from now on. Because thinking about history, I don't think this has ever happened. But maybe in the future, who knows? Chevrolet. 4 things on our agenda today. 1. Escaping the city, done. 2. Cornering practice, added right now. 3. Ice cream. 4. Expressing my love for the Japanese countryside. I know a lot of people have romantic feelings for the Japanese countryside, for the so-called Inaka, which is the Japanese word for countryside. And I understand that, because I share the same romantic feelings. And it is one of my dreams to someday in the future actually live in the countryside in Japan. And you might have heard the rumors about Japan giving away Akiya for free or for very cheap in Japan. Akiya, which translates to open house or a house that is not currently in use. And I do believe that a lot of people have that dream of just buying such an Akiya and moving to Japan and living in the countryside. But as always, everybody's marketing Japan as this unicorn in the world where everything is like a paradise. No, you will not get the proper house for free in the countryside in Japan. It's not that easy. It's not that easy, okay? However, it's not impossible, of course. Especially if you already live here. It's super nice here in the nature. That's why I tend to escape. Wow, Chevrolet. Hello. It's super nice here. It's you have lots of green, you have lots of wildlife, clean air, you have rivers flowing. It's just beautiful, right? You just want to wake up every morning, open your curtains and have this kind of view, right? But in terms of location, you need to take a few things into consideration. Are you mobile? Is it close to a train station? Are you dependent on the train? If not, do you have a license? Do you have a car? Can you buy a car? Can you buy the car that you need for the location that you are in? Do you have access to medical facilities? Do you have access to schools if you have kids? So Japan experiences typhoon season, rainy season. You don't want your house to be flooded. There's a risk of landslides, which is also amplified by earthquakes. Then winters. In some areas in Japan it snows heavily. So there might be times where you will not be able to freely move around because there's too much snow. Summers tend to be super hot and humid. So these things you have to take into consideration as well. Insects. Are you friends with insects? Because you need to be friends with insects. I'm not, so that's a huge hurdle for me. You will have to deal with giant centipedes. You might have to deal with frogs, which is not an insect, but it's a frog. So most of these are not venomous or anything, but it's just not comfortable, is it? And then the biggest fear factor, bears. You have Japanese black bears here in this area in particular as well. So encounters have been increasing, fatal and non-fatal. I come into this area for camping from time to time. Last year I bought myself bear repellent spray and a combat knife. Yes, that's right. If I encounter a bear, I will have a knife fight with a bear. This spray is what I'm actually counting on a bit more. So if you're looking for a house in a rural, if you're looking for a house in a rural, if you're looking for a house in the countryside in Hokkaido, then you might not have to deal with black bears, but with freaking brown bears. And then it's over, right? And probably the biggest factor when it comes to location is work. Look at these. These are not livable anymore, but these are Akiya. So if you work remotely, you can basically live anywhere. That's cool. Then when it comes to work, you don't have to think about anything, I guess. Most people who want to earn at least a little bit in Japan find work in the big cities. And if you work in these places and you still want to live in the countryside, then you have to make sure that you will be able to actually commute to work. Do you want to spend 3 hours on a train each day? And then we haven't talked about the Akiya itself, right? Wow. So most of these Akiya in the countryside are old houses. That means they don't have any real reinforcements when it comes to earthquake resistance. They might not be insulated very well. There might be lots of plumbing issues. There might be issues with your roof. So there's plenty of videos online of people renovating these Akiya. And if you have a look at these, you probably can kind of gauge what kind of problems you might run into. But if you can make it work, for me personally, I think there would be bliss. This kind of area here would be perfect in terms of distance to Tokyo, because you can still get into, especially if you have a car or if you have a bike, but it's also very quiet. So corners, you see me cornering? You see me cornering? I'm super bad at it. Oh, come on. You can push it a little harder, can't you? I've gotten a bit higher into the mountains now and it's a lot cooler. Have a look at the scenery. That's what you could have if you were to live in the countryside. It's just so nice to drive through the mountains, listen to good music. Sometimes it feels like you live in a bubble if you work full-time in a city like Tokyo, because all you do is work. And it's like every day is the same. Getting your eyes to relax, to look a bit further than just a few hundred meters onto a concrete wall is actually very relaxing. One reason I came here was practicing corners, but it was too packed, so I'm just gonna scratch this off the list. Maybe on the way back I'm gonna take a different route. Maybe I will be able to practice a bit of cornering. I think I haven't mentioned it, but we're driving from the city of Hanno towards the city of Chichibu in Saitama, and connecting those two cities is this mountain road, which is very enjoyable to ride on a motorcycle or even a car. It's a very easy road to drive, so even if you're inexperienced like me, you can have fun. Went to the Michinoeki as expected. It wasn't open yet, so no soft cream for me. But I really want to get ice cream today, so I'm just gonna go to convenience store and get me some ice cream later. Yay! So just earlier at the rest stop, a girl on I think a CBR 250RR just pulled into the parking spot, and it was a slim girl, maybe in her 20s, but the moment she pulled in, everybody turned their heads and looked at her because it's still here in Japan as well. There's not many women riding bikes. Everybody was instantly like, whoa, look at that. It's a bit embarrassing. It's a bit embarrassing. It felt a bit like the people were drooling over her, which is kind of embarrassing if you think about it. Ah, fresh meat. Again, I'm not one to go for speed. I just want to get technique down first. has been raining tonight, so on the edges of the road you can still see that it is wet, and there's also leaves and some sort of dirt still lying around, so you gotta be careful driving here. I will not take any chances. Wow, that's dangerous. Well, this is... wow, that's really dangerous. That does remind me of the fence scene in Final Destination 2, if anybody remembers it. People my age might remember it. I don't want to end up like that dude. Okay, left or right? Okay, it says right, so we're gonna go right. We're not going very quickly, but it's still practice and it's fun. It's a bit unfortunate that it's so wet. Not because I don't trust that my bike would be able to handle it, but I don't trust myself yet. Yeah, that one is not gonna make the cut. How slow can you go? Yes. If I make a mistake here, that's over for me. Especially those areas where there's no guardrail. And even with the guardrail, I would fly right over it and hit a tree. Or two or three. Alright. Yeah, I'm really not good at this. I need to get better. Okay, look into the corner. Okay. This is a corner. I can't see the exit of the corner, so I gotta be very careful here. Okay, that's the exit. Stuff on the floor. Look into the corner. Wide into the corner. I know the exit. Okay. Here as well, I know the exit, but for the next one, I can't see shit. Alright, alright, alright. Yeah, here it's completely wet. Yeah, here these kind of things. If it was dry, I would ride this like a MotoGP champion. I'm only riding this slow because it's wet. Now that guy is not riding slow. Gotta be careful here. Again, if you choose to live in a house this far up the mountain, I mean this one you can't live in anymore, you will need to consider what your life is gonna look like. Let's say it's the middle of January, you have a meter of snow, nobody's coming to clear the road for you, and you forgot to buy, I don't know, rice. Now what are you gonna do now? You're on your own. lot of these places are dead. You can really see that this is where businesses were actually active in the past, but they just didn't perform well, or they didn't find enough people to work in the countryside, or they just got old. But within these bushes, it might be full of giant centipedes. Always keep that in mind. Snakes, centipedes, bears hiding in the bushes, African elephants. Wouldn't it be nice if we all had remote work? And, you know, people would be scattering from Tokyo all over the place here, making it just enough people so it's a sustainable community, not too packed, but not like a ghost town like now. It feels like every second house is abandoned, so maybe you can buy all of these. It's hard to believe that this is really just an hour from Tokyo. In fact, this here is Saitama, but if you go down a little further south, it will look just the same, and it will still be Tokyo Prefecture. On the west side of Tokyo Prefecture, you have these kind of mountains, you have the rivers. It's basically Inaka. It is picked up in the anime and manga Jujutsu Kaisen, if anybody has seen that. They have a school campus in the middle of nowhere, and it's Tokyo, and people are confused. It's like, well, how can this be Tokyo? There's no nature in Tokyo. There is, in the prefecture of Tokyo. But obviously, if we refer to Tokyo, that's not what we mean. What we mean is the concrete jungle. So it makes sense people are confused, especially if you don't have any further knowledge about it. You see that mark, that colorful mark at the back of that car? That means that this driver is an elderly driver, which is concerning. You're like, wait a minute, if you have to show that you're elderly in driving, shouldn't you just stop driving? If you have to put that mark on to make people understand that you might be a bit slower or might be a bit bad at making decisions, so I don't know what it means. It's not like it gives you any, you know, rights to parking spaces or anything. You can buy these just wherever you want. It is concerning to me. This is nice. Like a bunch of new houses. Yeah, I assume that will probably be younger people living here, maybe even with kids. That's nice. Because there are, of course, people in Japan as well who are able to work remotely, be it for Japanese companies who are a bit more on the progressive side, or be it for international companies, meaning foreign companies, or just people who have their own business that doesn't require them to, you know, be at a certain location. Most of the time I could work from home, theoretically, but yeah, company policy says I have to be in the office, so that's that. So unless a few million people think that this content here is so unique, so beautiful, that they want to subscribe and support me, I will have to live near the city, which is what I'm expecting.